to start my scheduled live and it did not work for whatever reason. I don't know why. Happy Thanksgiving from Free and on the Road. I figure today I will do something fun and Thanksgiving-ish, and we will make. I actually haven't been drinking any of my sweet coffee drinks lately, but we will do a pumpkin spice latte today, and have some Happy Thanksgiving fun coffee chat. So I have my homemade pumpkin spice syrup here that I will make my latte out of. I will be using oat milk, and the coffee actually in the machine today is my partner for next month, which is Artistic Bean out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. This coffee is so good. I can't believe how many good small batch roasters there are. I don't have my portafilter here. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I thought I had everything, and then my live wasn't working for whatever reason. My camera wasn't opening or recording. So, all right, got my portafilter. I am gonna warm it up with the machine first because I did make a coffee already this morning, which doesn't normally happen before I hop onto my live, but I did make a coffee this morning while I was doing a bunch of baking because it's Thanksgiving, and this is my favorite holiday of the year. If you know me, you know that Thanksgiving is my ultimate favorite. I'm just warming up the Breville machine right now by running. I just ran a single shot. I put my portafilter in. I'm just running it into a container. Normally I run it into the cup that I'm going to drink out of, but I didn't have it sitting here and I was kind of not really prepared. So, and you can see that it leaves a little bit of hot water in the portafilter. So I normally just kind of move it around to warm up the portafilter, and then I empty it out, and then I'll dry the portafilter and then do I'll pull my espresso. So I actually have had a lot of comments this week on my on what do you call that? On fine tuning the bean. And I actually had one of my viewers say that they were using Starbucks coffee in their machine and they were having a really hard time fine tuning it. I personally have never used Starbucks coffee in my machine, but I do know that Starbucks is a little bit more on the commercial end, meaning that when you get the coffee from Starbucks, it was roasted offsite and you don't know exactly how old that coffee is. So I've been debating on doing what do you call that? Like a comparison with Starbucks coffee in my machine versus a small roaster so that you guys can see the difference and see what a morning. Anyway, I was going to try to put Starbucks in there and one of my small roasters in there so that we can see if I can fine tune it in, because I don't know. I know that I tried there was one other coffee that I had tried when I first got my Breville machine, and I did try to make espresso with it, and it didn't pull the shots properly. I couldn't get it to work no matter what. And I wonder if when you get the Breville Barista Express, it comes with the different filter baskets, and I'm wondering if when you do Starbucks, because even though it's not pre-ground, it's not totally fresh. I'm wondering if you should be using this pre-ground, the pre-ground basket in your portafilter. I don't know, because like I said, I've never really used that coffee. So I think that that'll be the next fun little test that we do to see if I can get it if I can get it zeroed in on my machine. I also noticed there was quite a bit of comments this week on my videos about the internal burr grinder, and it does come to you set at 4. So if you get the Breville Barista Express, your internal grinder is going to be set to 4. And I personally feel with a lot of the roast, you need to turn it down to 3. Some people say that they have it set to 4, so if that grinder starts wearing out, you have that opportunity to go lower. But when I had it at 4, I couldn't get it to grind fine enough, and I didn't have the right range until I actually changed my internal grinder to 3. So anyway, just food for thought. It is Thanksgiving this week. I guess I should talk about, we have one more week before the giveaway. giving away, so if you are using the Breville Barista Express and you are using Starbucks coffee, you should probably enter the drawing so that you can get a bag of real coffee. This was just roasted. It was roasted right before I received it, so it's only a week old. By the time you get it, it'll be less than a month old, which you want your roast from roast date to be at least 2 weeks old. Otherwise, there's actually too much crema. It creates too much of that reaction. So this will be perfect and ready to go into the Breville Barista Express. Or if you don't have a Breville Barista Express, you can also use this as a pour over, an AeroPress, or even in drip coffee if that's what you like. But it's good coffee. And then the giveaway will also include this cup from KJ's Wood and Clay. They're handmade here in Arkansas, so that is beautiful. I'm pretty sure this cup is an 8-ounce cup, so it's perfect for an Americano or a latte or anything like that. So Round Mountain Coffee, Wachota, and the mug will be given away. This month. All right, back to coffee making. I got my 18 grams of coffee. I did the little whiskey woo while I was talking, and now I'm going to use, I've showed you guys this before, but I did get a new tamper, which I really absolutely love. It is self-leveling. I do still make a mess on the counter. You don't have to have muscle on it like you do with the other tamper because it's weighted, I guess, and it's spring-loaded, so you just press down. So there is a perfect tamper. You can see even the little pretty circles there. Don't forget your screen. And you know what I forgot? I forgot a cup. I need to grab a cup. All right. I am going to do a pumpkin spice latte because it is Thanksgiving, and I figure why not do something Thanksgiving-ish. I will do 1 ounce of my homemade pumpkin spice syrup. If you want to know how to make it, let me know, and I can give you the directions for it. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it sprayed the wrong direction. All right, let's try get it in the cup. I don't know, maybe I'll only do a 1/2 ounce. I don't want it too sweet today. That seems like enough. See, I got it all over the cup. It tastes good though. All right, all over my scale. I'm gonna have to get a cloth to clean that up. I don't know why I'm weighing this. I need to weigh my cup. See, it sprayed all over and it threw me off. All right. So I put a 1/2 ounce of my homemade pumpkin spice in there. I'm going to pull my shot with the Breville directly into that. If you don't have a Breville and you're making a pour over or you're using an AeroPress, you can just make that and put that over your pumpkin spice as well. All right. So we'll go ahead and do the pre-extraction. I do my pre-extraction. Right there, 6 seconds is what it needed on that one. You can normally hear the machine starting to pressure up, and that's when you know to let go of it. Would you mind grabbing me a dish rag? Thanks. My shot was pulling a little fast this morning, so we'll see how it does now because I had just switched over to this artistic bean. It still was just a touch fast. That was I got 39 grams at 29 seconds. The eggnog is your favorite, huh? The eggnog one is pretty tasty. That is my favorite too. Yeah, sure. I'll need it again too for when I steam my milk. I got pumpkin spice all over the counter. You know. Oh, here, could you dump that out for me too? I have a fill-in assistant today because my kids decided that since everybody was on winter break, that they should be able to go play with their friends. Well, good morning. I'm glad that you came here first. Do you have a way to make your coffee at home instead of going to Starbucks? I don't like having to get dressed to have my coffee in the morning, especially if it's like a day off. I'll just like sit on the couch without getting dressed. All right, so I have my oat milk. I don't have my cloth back, but my assistant's going to get my cloth back for me. Right? Yeah. Yep, I need a cloth. He forgot that he was the assistant today. All right, so I'm going to make an oat milk pumpkin spice latte. I only did a 1/2 ounce of the pumpkin because I don't want it too sweet today. Normally I'll do like 1 ounce for my 6-ounce cup. And I ran out of oat milk. So I had to open a new jug. If you guys use oat milk and you're using a steamer, I have used probably 8 different types of oat milk. And this one actually frosts the best, this Oatly Barista. And if you notice, if you go to coffee shops and they have oat milk, this is the one that they normally always have for that very reason. It is definitely the best steamable oat milk. All right, get my steamer warmed up and then we will steam this out and we'll see if maybe I have actually been pouring some really amazing latte arts this last week, which is, you know, sometimes it just happens that way. So maybe today, because it's Thanksgiving, I always pour a leaf when I'm not trying to, but now that it's Thanksgiving and I'm thinking of pouring a leaf, it probably won't happen. I do know the biggest thing when you're doing latte art is the steaming process. So I've really been focusing on steaming my milk properly. I know that's a big learning curve for people that have these machines. So I have a nice, beautiful foam going on right now. I almost didn't hop on the live today because I didn't think anybody would be here since it's the day before Thanksgiving. But I was like, I'll hop on and make a coffee. And if nobody shows up, then I'll head out. But at least this way I can have a coffee this morning. Does anybody have like big Thanksgiving plans? For me, I just like to bake and cook. So I've already done that for the last 2 days. For the first time, I made pumpkin filling for my cinnamon rolls because I accidentally opened up too much pumpkin puree, so I had to do something with it. And I didn't eat a whole one, but I tried my son's and it tasted pretty good. So if you like that pumpkin flavor, it's pretty tasty. It's almost hot enough. I have a nice foam at the top. I think before what I was doing when I was steaming the milk is I was only steaming the tip for the whole time and it wasn't helping emulsify the milk. And you really have to drop that. You really have to drop the tip in so that it actually emulsifies it. I mean, I don't know if you can see how pretty that is, but that is like actually a perfect steam. So if I can't pour something, it's a me problem, not a steam problem. I actually just cleaned my machine yesterday. I did the full Breville maintenance. I did the, if you haven't seen my video yet, you can check it out, but I did the full descale on my machine yesterday. I think I use my machine so much that it makes me descale it like, why is this cloth so soaking wet? Could you rinse it and then squeeze it out for me? Like, all right. I am going to try and pour this, guys. Here goes nothing. You know what would be cool is if I was talented enough to pour a pumpkin, but I don't think I am. I barely can pour a heart. Okay. So I know already when I have the crema sitting like that, it's going to sit on the top as long as I steam my milk well, which I did. Thank you. That was way better. If I steam my milk well, which I know I did, it should sit on the top because it has a nice, you can see the layer of crema there, and that helps hold my latte art at the top. Yeah, you can see. I think sometimes I pour too fast. I watch these latte art professionals and they pour a lot slower than I do, so I'm like trying to get better at that. Not too bad. I think I poured too fast in the beginning. I got a little too hasty, and then I messed up the top, but that's okay. You haven't missed anything yet. I just made a pumpkin spice latte. Nothing special going on today. I was talking about doing a test. I think one of the next videos I'll do is going to be doing a test on seeing if I can tune in Starbucks coffee on my machine, because I have had so many viewers say that they're having a problem getting their coffee tuned in. And when I ask them what coffee they're using, they're saying Starbucks. And I'm wondering if it's because the Starbucks coffee is too commercial, or it's like, because when it's commercial, it's not fresh when you get it, right? So I'm wondering if that's the reason they're having a hard time tuning it in, or if it's really just they're just having a hard time tuning it in. I know when I first got the machine, I was trying to use cheap coffee in the machine to get it tuned in, because I thought, well, I'll use a cheap coffee to tune it in, and then I'll put good coffee in there. Well, I wasted a whole bag of cheap coffee and it tasted terrible, and then I put good coffee in there and I got it tuned in immediately. So I think I sound like a broken record, but it is the coffee that you use, guys. Oh, this is a good pumpkin spice. It's not too sweet. That a half ounce was perfect for me. It's just like you can taste. When I make my pumpkin spice, I put cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and ginger in it, and you can taste like the back flavor of the clove and the nutmeg. So delicious. Is there a particular drink that you guys like for the holidays? I'd say probably 90% of the time, I don't even do cream in my coffee. So like I'll just do a black Americano in the morning. I do a lot of just plain coffee. If I do a cortado, that's like a treat for me. And I normally just do that with oat milk. Flavored drinks to me are only in the fall. I don't know what it is about the fall and making it feel homey, but there's 3 drinks, and maybe it has a lot to do with Starbucks, let's be honest, because Starbucks has always pushed the holiday drinks. And when I used to drink Starbucks before I switched over to Good Coffee, I always did their pumpkin spice and their peppermint mocha and their eggnog latte. So those were the 3 favorites that I used to drink. And I make them at home and they taste way better than they do at any other coffee shop. I have ordered an eggnog cortado at one of our local coffee shops, and they actually do a pretty decent eggnog cortado. Now that I got a bunch of you here, I'm going to tell you, you only got a few more days to enter for the free drawing. I have a bag of Wachota coffee and a mug from KJ Wood and Clay. I will be giving away the first day of December, partnered with Round Mountain Coffee in Conway, Arkansas, and with KJ's Wood and Clay in Roland, Oklahoma. There's lots of ways to enter. The easiest way to find the link is to go to my website, freeandontheroad.com, and just click on coffee giveaways. I do a giveaway once a month. I partner with different coffee shops so that I can get good coffee to my viewers. I want you guys to be able to make good coffee at home as well. I do not speak whatever language that is. Te mesor du Ruben. Hello. I think that's what that means, but I have no idea. Somebody should translate for me. Google Translate whatever this says. Is that what it meant? Oh, I thought maybe it meant good morning. I thought Ruben was maybe a name, but I have no idea. Anyway, I got thrown off by the non-English comment because I don't speak English. Say one thing. Like, what does that mean? Anyway. This is an amazing pumpkin spice. I don't know. I guess you'd call it a cappuccino because it's really only a 6-ounce cup. I can't drink much more than 6 ounces. I get so full and I have to be able to drink more than 1 coffee a day. So if I drink a coffee with too much milk, then I'm down to only 1 coffee a day, and that's not enough for me. Anyway, back to what I was talking about before I got sidetracked about the giveaway is tuning in the machine and what things to look for. Have any of you that are on the live right now tried Starbucks coffee in your machine? Because I personally have not. Or have any of you tried commercial coffee in your machine and had good results? Because from what I know about espresso is it needs to be a fresh bean so that it can get the aeration or whatever the technical term is for that. I wonder if somebody has tried it with success, though. We're going to find out because I think next week that's what oh, he's from Bali. I want to go to Bali. That would be a cool place to go. They have good coffee in Indonesia. That's one of the areas they have really good coffee that comes out of that area. I wonder how you guys make it there. If it's like us where we make it in an espresso machine, or do you have like some cool contraption to make coffee? It's always interesting to me. See, I get really sidetracked. I've told you guys this before. It's the whole squirrel syndrome. Anyway, I always find it super interesting when we have other people on here from other countries and they talk about the coffee that they have and how they make it, because there really is a history of coffee different in every culture. Vanilla lattes are pretty tasty. I actually had, when I first got this machine, I bought a bottle of some sugar-free vanilla syrup, and it had a funky taste to it. So then I started making my own homemade syrups. That was actually why I started making homemade syrups. And I make this homemade vanilla, and it is so good. One of my favorites actually is, instead of like a plain vanilla latte, I do a honey cinnamon vanilla. So I take honey and I boil it. I do 1 cup honey, 1 cup water, two whole vanilla beans, and then 2 cinnamon sticks. And I boil that all together, like I simmer it for 10 minutes, and then I let it cool down for about 20 minutes. And then I put it in these little jars. That's what that is there. This is actually my honey cinnamon. And that is so good in the cortados. I actually learned that from, who did I learn that from? Oh, that was from Round Mountain Coffee. They are the ones that taught me how to do the vanilla cinnamon honey, I should say, instead of sugar. And I really like that honey flavor when it comes to pairing it with espresso. Is there a particular vanilla that you use? You use like a homemade one, or do you use like just like the store-bought one? There is a company in Arkansas. They're called Pink Alchemist, and by far they make some of the best coffee syrups out there. I was trying to remember, there was another brand that they have in Canada that's actually pretty good, but I can't remember the brand of it, but I have seen it here before. But that Pink Alchemist is made by, it's a small company in Arkansas, and they are in numerous coffee shops now because their syrups are actually so good. So if they're not, like, if coffee shops aren't making their own syrup, this syrup is like, it's a really good quality syrup, and it tastes amazing. And they have a bunch of different flavors. They have like, I think I went on their website and they had something like 50 different flavors. They have like lavender and rosemary and vanilla and caramel, and they had almond roca. I don't even remember all of them, but they had so many different flavors to choose from. So if you don't want to make your own syrups, I think that that's like an option, is to get a really good syrup. Oh, this is good. I didn't even think I wanted another coffee after my coffee this morning, but this one really hit the spot. I would make another coffee while we're chatting, but I know there's no way I could drink another one, because I already did a bunch of baking this morning, and my biggest thing is when I'm baking, I have to taste everything. So I think I'm pretty full from all the tasting I did. We made cinnamon rolls this morning and banana bread. We made mac and cheese for tomorrow. I wonder the same thing, how many people actually make their own coffee. I have debated doing a live in a coffee shop and letting you guys watch me order and the barista make it, but I haven't had time to do that. I think it would be kind of fun to do a live in a coffee shop and have somebody else make me coffee. I actually do have the vanilla honey cinnamon syrup. I actually do have that on my channel, but it's like literally super easy. I did post that video when I was first starting. It seems like I don't get as many views on the recipes for coffee syrup, so I haven't been doing as many of those. If I start getting more views on those, I'll do them, but I don't want to be making a bunch of content that people aren't watching. I know that the tutorials on the machine has been super helpful, but it's really just 1 part honey, 1 part water, because then it makes it thinner. You can do it if you want to just put a teaspoon of honey at the bottom. You could do that, and then you just add some Ceylon cinnamon, and a little bit of your vanilla syrup that you have if you really wanted to, or you could use what do you call that? Vanilla extract. But when I make the syrup myself, I get fresh vanilla beans. I order Madagascar vanilla beans, and I cut them in half, and I boil that in the water, and then I get Ceylon cinnamon sticks, and I boil that in the honey water. So I do have that on my channel. It is called, I think it's called cinnamon vanilla cinnamon syrup, but I do have that. I think it's a short video. It's like 5 minutes, but it is a walkthrough on that recipe and how I do it. And then you just let it, the main thing is you just let it, after it simmers for 10 minutes, you just let it sit in the pan with all of like the vanilla and the cinnamon sticks for at least, I'd say at least half an hour to an hour, just so that it can keep steeping. And then once it's cooler to room temperature, you can put it in any jar. I do like making the syrup versus just putting honey in my drink because it's not as thick, so it's easier to mix. I actually started doing it in the summertime because I really like that in my iced lattes. And so then the honey doesn't get all hard because it's thinner. So I'll just take my jar. I actually have I keep a mason jar of it in the fridge, like already pre-made, and then I just pour this right over my vanilla latte. But anyway, I do have a tutorial of it. I had milk left. I could have made it extra. I could have made an extra shot for that. Can't believe I drank all that. It was so good. That was like one of the best pumpkin spice. I think it's because I haven't been having pumpkin spice. You know, if you drink something too much, you almost get tired of it. But this last week, I've switched to mostly Americanos because I think I was drinking a little too much eggnog. The scale had showed I was drinking too much eggnog. So I went back to normal Americano drinking. But tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So I had my pumpkin spice latte so I could get my harvest pumpkin in. And I will do eggnog lattes tomorrow for the family. We actually are all doing a turkey run. I know they have those all over the country. I've actually seen a bunch of them. And the family and I are all going to go for a run in the morning. I don't know how I talked them all into that. I guess I'm just that amazing. I don't even know how I talked them into that. And then we will just eat all afternoon and drink lattes. I will not be filming any of those lattes because I will just be drinking them. And I am hoping that all of my kids want to have a latte so I can practice my latte art because it's a lot of fun. I actually really enjoy making coffee for other people. And I really love cooking and baking for other people. That's kind of like my thing that I love doing. I do agree that when you buy store-bought flavors, they taste funky. And that's why I would always recommend, and Cruz, it's smart that you're getting it from Texas Coffee Traders. It's probably a good vanilla. It's probably not like the one they sell at Sam's Club or Walmart. It's probably a local made, because there's a lot of local made companies that do simple syrups for coffee. I think I didn't realize before I started my own coffee journey how easy it is to make your own homemade simple syrups. A lot of the simple syrups are technically 1 part water, 1 part sugar, and then whatever flavor you want in it. I make a majority of mine sugar-free. I try to stay away from having too much sugar, but some of them don't come out as good unless you actually put sugar in it. I haven't found a really good sugar substitute that doesn't crystallize. My favorite sugar substitute is ethereal, but I found, let me see if I have a jar of it. Okay, you see how it's like crystallizing on the tip there? That's the ethereal. So what happens is it actually crystallizes up. You can see the crystallization. So when I first made my first sugar-free syrup, I did the same. I did 1 part of the ethereal to 1 part water, and the entire bottle looked like, you know when you were little and you used to grow crystals in a jar? Yeah, it looked like that. The entire bottle had the crystals grow all the way. It was all the way up to here with crystals. And then what I had to do to get it out was put hot water in it to melt those crystals down. So then I did a bunch of research, and they said that because I was using the monk fruit, but monk fruit is mixed. Monk fruit is mixed with ethereal, and the ethereal crystallizes, and so that's what happened. Was a whole thing crystallized. So the monk fruit has the best flavor, but it doesn't sit well. It doesn't like sit in the. I tried putting it in the fridge too, and it is even worse. So I put the simple syrup in the fridge that I made with monk fruit, and I put it in the fridge, and it was overnight. I woke up the next morning and the entire jar was crystallized. I was like, well, that didn't work. So I'm still kind of trying to fine tune my sugar-free syrups with the right, because I've done a couple, like I made 1 syrup with all stevia instead of ethereal. And when I did it with all stevia, it was super bitter. The other substitute I've tried is coconut sugar, but I know I've talked to a couple people that are diabetic, and they said that coconut sugar still spikes diabetes. Coconut sugar is cleaner than regular sugar, but it's like a brown sugar, so it turns all of your syrups brown. Coconut sugar has a very deep, earthy flavor, So for some of the flavors, it's almost overpowering. It's fine with like I put it in my pumpkin spice, so the coconut sugar is really good in my pumpkin spice. My chocolate syrup that I make with I make it with either stevia or with like the monk fruit, and I think that tastes the best. Close my shirt. I have a shirt under my shirt. See, that's why I wear shirts under my shirt. That's why I have an undershirt. I don't. Anyway. So yeah, I think that's kind of my ramble for today. My ramble is making syrups at home and using good coffee. Make sure you use good coffee. If you're having a hard time fine tuning your machine, I highly recommend going to a local roaster and picking up a bag of roasted coffee there. That is my highest recommendation. It'll really help you be able to fine tune your Breville Barista machine in. If you don't have any and you live in the US, make sure that you enter into the drawing for my November giveaway, a bag of Round Mountain Wachota coffee and a cup, a mug, handcrafted from KJ Wood and Clay. The color on here doesn't show as pretty as it really is, but there's like these blue and brown tones in it. It's super beautiful. It's heavy duty. This is like a heavy duty, like almost camping mug. So it's homey feeling when you drink coffee out of it. But yeah, that's about it for today. I'm going to wrap this live up and I will see you guys maybe later this week. We will see. I'm planning to come back Friday. If not, happy Thanksgiving. And the next time I come back, we'll probably be doing the giveaway. So be sure that you enter the drawing. Have a great day and keep on brewing.